And we're live again. We're back for Monday slate. Not the 1-1-1, but we still got some
The 3-3-3,
good
they
things.
pushed it off a day. I think there's a few less games on Monday than usually is.
Yeah.
So
Which I don't hate. I don't hate. Like sometimes it's like you get right back into it Monday. I like the bigger Tuesday slate. Sometimes the Tuesday slate's a bit of a drag. But we got 7 games tonight. I mean, I somewhat have already talked to you, so I kinda know I know what
yeah,
you like.
I mean, sometimes you just have to attack the slate with a contrarian angle, and I think both you
Yeah.
and I kind of leaned in that way. And there's way
It's
better
funny. It's
spots.
funny. If it's like in an alternate universe, you just absolutely you never stack against aces. Like the general like I do find myself like in these spots stacking against like aces more than you. Um, but whenever you're beating the drum, but also like it's just the Kansas City. It's that heroin, dude. You can't get away from the.
When it's the thing too is like whenever you play a high ticket team, whether it's a 333 to 888, it takes so much courage to play this contrarian stack. Like, and I know what you're doing tonight. We'll talk about it because it's the first game. But whenever your biggest stand is like the 5-man stack against the highest owned pitcher. I mean, if it breaks right, like you don't have to be perfect, right? If that breaks correctly, whether it's 6 runs and that pitcher gets pulled, that pitcher gives up all six, and you have a piece of all those 6 runs, like you are going to be so different than everyone else.
Yeah,
It's just going to be an elite separated, and other times you get absolutely last place, right?
yeah.
So
Well, there's something this, and we'll get into it, but like, there's like certain things that you look at. Okay, this guy does give up a ton of home runs, right? In a conducive park to home runs against a team that's lefty heavy. Um, yeah, I think there's two parts to this. Obviously, like, I guess we can just lead with it. We'll just lead with it because it doesn't even matter why we're beating around the bush. But like Chase Burns against Kansas City, right? Like some part of it is game theory, like going to Kansas City because Chase Burns will be the highest owned pitcher. It's like if you plan to fade him,
especially like just like once again, we're prep this. I'm a Braves fan. You're a Braves fan. We do like the Royals, and they've been underperforming, but we saw what Leiter did. He struck him out 10 times, right? And so everyone's in. Leiter's not the pitcher Chase Burns is. So Chase Burns is going to be 40+% owned and the high dollar stuff. So it's just like you're going to play Kansas City 3 to 5 man. I know you said that, and that's interesting because Chase Burns underlying are fine. His strike rate's great. His walk rate's good. Does give up hard hits, right? So Bobby Witt and those boys can get to him. It's going to be completely contrarian, unowned. All the Royals are going to be single digits, maybe even Bobby Witt. But yeah, it's one of those spots like you said, like it's in the Great American Small Park, right? So it's just like it's a spot where if he gets the Burns and you just get the ultimate upside, it's going to be. I mean, you might be
yeah,
the only team with a Kansas City 5-man in the 3-3-3.
yeah, the reason I'm into it more, right? Like when I look at the slate, it's like not the safest spot, obviously, but it's like it's a spot that I don't play Chase Burns anyways, and me fading Chase Burns means like there's more merit to playing the offense against him, right? That's the theory, and okay, so some of this is like deep diving, like okay, when Chase Burns gets blown up, what is it? It usually comes in home runs, right? Like what we've seen this season is like even his elite starts, he's given up a home run. I think he's given up like 9, 10 home runs this season. He gives up the long ball, right? It's at home against a bunch of lefties, which is good for the lefties coming into the Great American Small Park. But even in his good starts, he's getting home runs, right? Right. And in the worst start of the season where he put up negative points against the Angels, what you saw there is a bunch of home runs too. So it's like this is where it's one of those spots. It comes in bunches. I like targeting the lefties against Burns here. It just feels like the immovable force against it. Whatever. It's like, but it's like the opposite of that. It's like this guy is unbelievable. He's in the Cy Young race for the NL. Um,
It's
and
just for me, Chase Burns is a guy that's young enough in his career. We see good pitchers get blown up on
oh, big
occasion,
time.
and we are both believers that the Royals have some potential bats that are going to be, and we both expected them to be a bit better, but they have professional batters. Obviously, the back end is a little bit concerning. Isabel Lofton, Lane Thomas, Michael Massey, not the best batters there, but you get Vinny P, Bobby Witt, Carter Jensen, Jack Kaggs, those type of bats in the top end of that lineup, and obviously Michael Garcia is out. It's interesting, right? Because if he gets chased a little bit, you're going to be just solo on that island. But
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely see that, and I don't know if I'll do that in 333. I know you're gonna do that, so that's pretty interesting. But on the other side too, the Reds are obviously in play. I mean, uh, Luender Avila is not special. He's not special. The Royals
No.
bullpen's also been struggling, so I
Yeah.
think Ellie's hurt a little bit. But once again, if you're playing the Royals, it's just a 1-for-1 there. Bobby Wood over at Ellie. So for
Yeah.
me, I do like both sides of this game from a contrarian angle. It's just going to be potentially just the fate of Chase Burns in tournaments and just hope he doesn't put up a 40 spot here.
Yeah, well, because if he puts up 40, it doesn't matter. Either way, like I'm going to fade him, right? So even if I don't play the Royals, I'm going to fade Chase Burns. So it's like 40 kills me either way. Um, I do love the Reds as well. This game is like the stack is interesting because if it's like if you 5-man stack Kansas City, you're hoping that they have the lead, right? So then you're gonna get 9 innings out of the Reds players. This game could be 9-7. There's a lot of like scenarios in which it's 9-7. The best batter for Cincinnati right now has probably been like JJ Bleday. And he's expensive in that outfield, but like I think I would leave him in your stacks if you're building, just because I do feel like he's been the best offensive bat for Cincinnati, and like he's expensive, and people are like, oh, I'll just play Kyle Tucker, I'll play Fajes, I'll play these guys that are right there in the same price range. And I think if you're building the Cincinnati stack, put him in there because he's just been their best offensive bat outside of Ellie. Obviously, Belly's hurt. I still like South Stewart too. I know it's like he has fallen off a little bit. Like he's he's a little streakier, but that's the name of the game with these young guys. Like they're going to be a little bit hot and cold.
Mhm.
So I think there's a creative way that you can stack this game. I know historically speaking, you don't like to stack games in DFS, but I think it makes sense if your 5-man stack is the away side to stack the home team with a 3 spot, just given that you're going to get 9 innings on both sides. Like, I definitely prefer like a 5-3 home, away home versus like the 5-3 home away.
I agree, and I do like the Reds. I mean, I think obviously Super Mario South Stewart, great play, guy that could hit 2 home runs in a game. I like Spencer Steele a little bit at second base, has shown a little bit. I know you like him as well. And like you said, JJ Bleday in the outfield, he's a guy that had some prospect pedigree, wasn't special, and really looks good this season. So I do like him still. Once again, it's a small park. The Reds will be on, the Royals will not. So for sure, the Reds are going to be played by others. But let's jump into the next game. Joe Ryan on the bump for the Twins. Is it Sandin for the White Sox?
Yeah.
Sandin's been fine. I see a TBD in StatCast. But yeah, Joe Ryan's a great play in the slate. 28% striker rate, 5% walk rate. White Sox have shown something. But Murakami being out of lineup is a little bit encouraging. But the problem with that is Jacob Gonzalez, the prospect they called up, he's mashing, I think, 19 home runs in AAA. He's kind of a menace. He's a guy I will be playing on future slates while Murakami's down. He's a guy that runs, hits home runs. Absolutely. A guy you want to keep an eye on. His name is Jacob Gonzalez. So just a guy going forward. Against Joe Ryan, I probably won't do it, although I know Joe Ryan is prone to long ball. I like him a lot in the slate. I think a little bit more than you. Just a guy that's got a solid strikeout rate, can go deep, has good stuff. I'm a Joe Ryan guy. For Sandin, I don't know if he's going to go deep enough. I think last time out he was only like 60 pitches. He did great. I mean, did really fantastic. But as far as like a workload, I think there's just better pitchers on the slate. So for me, it's just going to be Joe Ryan from this game, avoiding bats on both sides. I understand if someone's like, I need Sandin as a value, but for me, it's just I don't need that. So I'm just going to play Joe Ryan and pass from everything else in this game.
Yeah, I just don't feel like you need him on a 7-game slate. I just think the 70 pitches is there's just too much downside in that. Like you'd be happy with 15 points. I just don't think 15 points will be enough a pitcher for Sandin. Joe Ryan's great. He's like, in the elite play tonight. I think he's one of the top 2 pitchers on the slate. And I don't think you like if you're gonna play Royals, you don't need the salary cap, so you can play whoever you want to a pitcher. I like him. He's probably a top end arm. I to your point, I don't like the bats here. I do like the White Sox as a team still is overperforming. So like where the Murakami out, like I like pitchers against him. So like it's kind of easy to plug in Ryan here. It's in Minnesota, not a great hitter's ballpark. I don't know what the weather is. There's nothing crazy. I didn't know I saw maybe the wind's blowing in, which could just help Joe Ryan with a long ball.
There's very minimal wind in, wind out today. It's just like 5 or 10 either way, which doesn't move the needle a whole bunch.
No, it doesn't move it a lot. But yeah, this is a pass game. Like I think the pitcher here, Joe Ryan, is firmly in play. He may make the big build today, but it just kind of depends on how things shake out. Again, it's not going to be a salary cap day for me. Like, I could leave a couple thousand left over for sure, just given I'm going to be playing the Royals. So.
Well, let's jump to the next game. We have the Giants at the Brewers. Landon Roop on the mound for the Giants. I think the Brewers are going with an opener, and then Chad Patrick's going to follow that.
Yeah.
Man, I really want to pick on Chad Patrick. I don't love seeing an opener. It just does something to the lineup, right? So like Bryce Eldridge, the guy I played yesterday, hit a home run. Just a guy that's really has a lot of pop in his bat. The problem with the Giants is they're really a bottom 5 offense right now. There's a couple of really good bats, and other than that, you're really grasping for straws. Matt Chapman's he's regressed so much. And it's just been one season, but he doesn't look good right now. So for me, the stack would be the Giants in this game. Landon Roop's been really good. Underlying suggests he's kind of he is what the surface level numbers tell us he is. So I trust him. Probably won't be playing the Brewers against him. Once again, I'd like to attack Chad Patrick. I don't know if I can 5-man the Giants in this spot just because it's a spot where you get that opener. Maybe the opener goes 1, maybe he goes 2, and then you get Chad Patrick. And we saw what that did for Littell. Zach Littell started falling an opener and it really helped him. He started getting the weaker half of the lineup second, and it really just gave him confidence. And sometimes pitching is all about confidence. You start getting hit around with a 1, 2, 3 guy, right? The 4 guy, doubles off the wall. There's 2, there's 3, right? It's just like you get that opener to carve through some guys, and that's helped Littell. So maybe it helps Patrick here. I'm just not a believer in Patrick. So for me, I might sprinkle the Giants, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it fixed Bryson Bayo. Bryson Bayo was like, now he's going in bulk relief. He pitched 7 innings in bulk relief, and he was like 7 scoreless, like 6 Ks. Yeah. It's just like sometimes, to your point, it's like you don't see the cream of the crop at the beginning. You don't get that early like shakiness, and it's like, oh, I can kind of come in and just settle in the game. Bryce Miller's done it too this season. Obviously, Luis Castillo, there's been some like tension there with that, but like he's looked great in bulk relief, which is still like pretty much the starter's workload at the end of the day. Yeah, this is a pass game for me. I like Roop, I like a lot, but you can't play him here, and I just feel like Milwaukee's getting healthy. Like everyone's hitting the ball well. Milwaukee's a scary lineup. Like they were good last season. I think their offense is getting back healthy again, and they'll be a team I target in certain spots. And like if you had to look at a different offense, maybe outside of like a contrarian offense like Kansas City, who I'm thinking about playing tonight, I think Milwaukee's that build because I like Roop is good, but like he's still a young guy, and we've seen him in starts get very shaky. And that Milwaukee's lineup from top to bottom is fun, right? You have a lot of like power speed combo, and I think that's always fun in DFS and like valuable, right? If you 5-man stack a team, again at home against a pretty good pitcher in Roop, I just won't do it today. I'll kind of focus on Kansas City. I know. Again, I'm going to say that word. If I keep saying it, maybe it will just come true. But outside that, I don't believe in the Giants. The Giants put up 19 runs. That was in cores. The Giants is a bottom 3 offense in the league. They're not very good. The thing is, they do.
Bryce Elder's in their prospects. It makes them better. It's going to make them better for sure.
It does make them better. This is a build like, okay, if I played the Dodgers, if I 5-man stack the Dodgers, I think the Giants would be interesting because they have cheap value pieces on the road against Patrick, right? So like that like when I did some mock builds today, it was like that kind of made sense for me, but I'm not going to need it for this slate. Like how I'm envisioning what I'm going to play tonight. And again, we're small, like we're like single entry guys. We're not doing multi-entry maxing, but yeah, I think the Giants pieces are cheap. So if you're paying up for bats, you're paying up for Shohei, Juan Soto, Freddie Freeman, like Pajes, like that, those teams are expensive. You're getting the value stack, and the Giants do come as a value stack. So like that is where it would make sense, but that's not going to be my build today. So.
Yeah, I agree. Let's jump into the next game. We have Texas Power Rangers versus the St. Louis Cardinals. I think we have DeGrom on the mound for the Rangers, and then Michael McGreevy on the mound for the Cardinals. Another pitcher's park there in St. Louis. But it's just, for me, I still like the Rangers. The Rangers lineup is a little weird. Evan Carter's been a guy that hits and runs. I do like him. Me and you both like him a lot on best ball. But as far as the priority in this game, it's going to be DeGrom for me. He gets hit hard when he gets hit, but with a 30% strikeout rate and a 5% walk rate, if he gets the correct BABIP side and he gives up very few hits and very few runs, he's one of the few pitchers that could kind of lead the slate in fantasy points tonight. Just at a 30% strikeout rate and 5% walk rate, if he's not getting hit hard, that would absolutely be a gift there. But I wonder if we see Nelson Velasquez in the lineup. I know he's mostly been, in there against the lefties and not maybe he sees the ground, maybe he doesn't. He has a decent strikeout rate, but the guy's been hitting the ball so damn hard. I mean, he was great in spring for the Cardinals. He's just another bat to be worried about in the Cardinals lineup. And I think day by day, the Cardinals lineup, once Lars Nootbaar gets back, is a lineup you're not going to want to target pitchers against. No. But for me, there's still enough strikeouts in that lineup where I do like playing DeGrom. I think you're a little bit more sour on DeGrom just because we've seen him get blown up, but the underlying, the chase, the whiff, everything looks good there. So for me, I am going to play DeGrom with a lean to the Rangers stack. Michael McGreevy is not special. Brandon Nimmo, all the underlyings are fantastic. Brandon Nimmo is just a professional batter. He's so good. But for me, the stack is hard to get to. So it's going to be DeGrom in this game. Just a pass on the Cardinals side.
Yeah, St. Louis has been good. They've been like pesky, dude. It's that coupled with the fact that like DeGrom has looked a little off. Like he's kind of like tinkering a little bit with his pitches. Obviously, everyone knows his velo is way down compared to like, and he doesn't have to be a high velo pitcher. He's kind of like tapered that back of his own accord. But there's some concerns. Like, yeah, I would say like DeGrom to me feels like he scores in like the 17 to 20 range tonight, which is good, right? Like maybe that's like the second or third best pitcher, but I just feel like there's better options.
His fastball still, 97, which is fine. And if you just look at some of the underlines, like look at the chase, he's 91st percentile on chase, 93rd percentile on whiff, 98th percentile on strikeout, right? So yeah, he gets his average exit velo. I mean, this is what I like in a pitcher generally. And sometimes it bites you in the ass, right? But like I see similar things from Chase Burns, guy with high, bottom of the league, exit velo, barrel, hard hit rate. But what that means, he's going right after guys. So if his stuff's working and guys are swinging, missing the zone, and look at that chase and whiff rate, like that's important, right? So if he's in the zone and the guys just aren't hitting him, he could have the best day on the slate. And that's just the facts. I mean, those numbers suggest that, right?
Yeah, there's a guy later we'll talk about that has a better chase rate. His whiff rate is slightly below DeGrom's, but he's got a better chase rate. And he's like, the issue with him is he walks guys, but he's young.
Yeah, but this is what's impressive about DeGrom. So he's getting those barrels, but it's because he's finding the zone. So he's finding the zone so much, but he's still getting some chase, right? So it's like it's really what I want to see is like I want to see is that whiff rate. Like the guys that are like, do you have a high whiff rate? Because that's balls in zone and balls out of the zone, right? Yeah. If you're chasing outside of the zone, like that's the tunneling we talk about, right? Like when the pitch tunnels. When the tunneling is so similar, the guys just don't know what's coming, right? Is he going to exit the zone or stay in the zone, right? So for DeGrom, I do like him. I know some of the starts have been shaky, but if we're looking at DeGrom versus Soriano, we'll talk about the next game. It's just DeGrom all day for me.
Yeah, it's not DeGrom all day, but I think that's like to me, DeGrom and Soriano are tough. I think I'm like leaning away from both of those guys, and I think I have other options I like better. But I think, they're both like similar. To me, it's like I'd probably lean towards Soriano just because the matchup against Colorado is just a lot better. Colorado's not good. They're not a good offense. Like
this is where we slightly disagree. I mean, Colorado's not the Colorado of yesteryear. They're better this year. Like they have better batters this year. And this is the thing. I drafted a lot of Soriano in best ball, but his strikeout rate's up this year, but he's not a strikeout rate. He's not a strikeout pitcher generally. He's a ground ball pitcher, right? So it's like, do I trust the guy in DeGrom or Soriano to have more strikeouts? On average, it's going to be DeGrom, right? DeGrom is a better strikeout pitcher. That's just always what he's been. He's not going to change his mold, right? He just won't. And Soriano, is he going to revert back to that? Because he's had some struggles lately looking for those strikeouts, right? Walking too many guys, getting up too many hits. So for me, it's going to be DeGrom. But I understand your case. I mean, Colorado is always a decent matchup, but for me, it's just going to be past there.
They have like 5 guys with like a 30% strikeout rate, and they just strike out so much.
Yeah, but once again, Soriano's not a strikeout pitcher, right? So
he isn't.
And once again, he's been getting in trouble with the walks too. Right? I said 10% walk rate, 27% strikeout rate is fine, but nothing near DeGrom. And once again, Soriano, we're jumping to this game. So the Angels at home facing the Rockies.
I mean, before I want to say one more piece is the highest strikeout, projected total on the slate is Soriano. Obviously, it just makes sense because we talked about the matchup makes such a. It's like the matchup.
It's always that, right?
Yeah, because St. Louis just doesn't strike. If you look at their team, they don't strike out a ton. They do strike out some, but like Colorado's like historic. I mean, they're so bad. They're better than last season, but they're really, really bad again. So. And that's the slight lean to me for Soriano. It's just like, I mean, they're projecting like 7.5 strikeouts, which is like, could he get over that? He could get 12 to 13. That's not a good.
No. Soriano's not a 12 to 13 strikeout guy. And I feel very confident in saying that. Bet the under of 13 strikeouts.
Yeah, obviously.
But once again, all right, so let's jump into this game. So Soriano, you like evidently a lot more than I do. And then Kyle Freeland just can't play. Obviously, the Angels are going to be an own stack today, right? Like you see Kyle Freeland gets hit hard. The Angels have a bunch of righties to be feared. Neto, Trout, Adele, all these guys, right? You can play Jorge Soler. Vaughn Grisham's underlines look great. It's just going to be a pass. It's just going to be a pass for me. Once again, you have to focus priorities, but like the Angels are a great spot. If on paper you're looking at this matchup, Rockies bad bullpen, Freeland not a good pitcher, you should play the Angels. There's a bunch of righties that are going to give Freeland a lot of problems. So I don't have any problems here. It's just for me, it's just a contrarian angle. I'm going to try to fade this game, fade Soriano, who will come with some ownership, fade the Angels, who are going to come with a lot of ownership, potentially the top-owned team on the slate against the Rockies. So for me, it's just going to be a pass. But I totally get this. It makes sense. On paper, you should play the Angels. But for me, trying to get trained in a single entry, it's just going to be a pass here.
Yeah. Freeland does have these starts where he comes out and like kind of shoves, which is like it's generally in the course, which is weird for him. But he's like pretty bad. I don't think we've seen maybe a glimpse of that once or twice this season. Soriano obviously mentioned this. We don't belabor it. It's like, to me, it's the underlying stuff still like he's still trying to strike guys out a lot, which is like leading to some walks. But it's the Colorado team just has trouble finding the ball, which is not uncommon to them over the last couple of years.
We talk about the side leans too, right? So like if we're looking at total park factor, I mean, St. Louis is one of the best pitchers parks in baseball, and then you have the Angels with the wind blowing out, one of the better hitters parks. So it's just like if I'm giving leans there, it's like Soriano can get hit hard. He gives up a 2-run shot to Hunter Goodman. You're in trouble. You're getting more and more in trouble, right? So it's just like that's the lean.
Dude, you know, hear a crazy stat. Hunter Goodman has a 35% strike rate. He's striking out almost. I mean, like That's insane.
Some of your best power hitters are gonna have that, right? So
Yeah, that's
and
insane.
you're gonna get Mickey money back in the lineup here for sure.
Yeah,
You're just gonna get and so Colorado does what all bad teams usually do. You see the Giants do this a lot too. They just platoon guys, right? So like
yeah,
Soriano's not gonna get the most advantageous matchups, which is fine. I mean, he should know that. He should have a fine game here. There's no good bad. Like he's a fine play in a fine spot, and he's a fine pitcher. So
yeah.
I'm not gonna argue that. I'm just gonna be passing on this game. I just think the Angels and Soriano are gonna come with some of the highest ownership on the slate. So for me, it's gonna be a pass.
Yeah, I don't hate it. Again, the lean for me is Soriano. If you want to throw in some righties against Friedman, I like that a lot too. I mean, I'm an Adele truther, and he's been hitting the ball. So I drafted a ton of him. You drafted a ton of Mike Trout, so we're kind of bought in there.
Logan in best ball was huge.
Yeah, he's a good hitting catcher, but man, he's just not shown in the season. Like, and the underlying numbers don't look good either. Like, but I guess I'm a believer in like what we saw in AAA, then what we saw like some of last season, but the numbers don't suggest that he's done any of that this season. So maybe he's like due for some positive regression at some point. But like, yeah, to me, it's the righties. I just don't love the Angels lineup for a 5-man stack. That's the concern. Like the back end is pretty weak, and like overall the lineup is weak. It's a good matchup, but overall the lineup's weak. So, but yeah, that's it for me. I think Soriano would be the play if I'm playing anything from this game, but obviously the Angels are going to be a good offense to target.
Yeah, just to jump on that, like he's like, yeah, the Angels are. I mean, so all those guys have a lot of power. Zach Neto at shortstop, he's a weird bat profile for shortstop. He's not a guy that hits for a lot of like average, but the guy has so much power. I mean, he could go 2 for 5 with 2 home runs. That's kind of his game. And I watch him play a lot for some reason. It's just always on the TV, and he's got so much swing and miss in his bat too. So he's gonna be fine against Friedman. Friedman doesn't have any strikeout stuff. Bad platoon matchup for Friedman, facing these probably 4 or 5 righties in a row. So let's jump to the next game. I think you have a pitcher who you really like. We have Sheehan on the mound versus K-Rod for the Diamondbacks. This is another spot where I think people go to the Dodgers. I don't have a feel in this game. I'm gonna let you lead in this, but I just like for me, this is a pass game. Obviously, the Dodgers are always in play, but I think K-Rod's fine enough. So for me, I just don't know what to do in this game, and I think you like Sheehan a lot. So I'll let you go ahead and talk.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the Dodgers are a great play. You look at like so these 3 guys: Shohei, Freddie Freeman, Andy Pages. Like those guys, there's not a number you can look at in their Statcast data that says don't play them. Everything screams play them. The reason they're also interesting is because like people, so Pages obviously is righty, but like Freddie and Shohei are lefty. Sometimes people just like don't like to play lefty on lefty. I don't think it matters. Rodriguez is a low end 3 or like maybe a high end 3, low end 2 pitcher. Maybe it's a low end 3, high end 4. He's not very good, but like he can be serviceable at times. I think the Dodgers are probably the best offensive play on the slate. Like their lineup, Teoscar's out, but you still have like Will Smith, who generally like historically hits lefties really well, and you're gonna have some value in like Ryan Ward or depending. It's probably gonna be Ryan Ward that plays, maybe Alex Call. But like there's value there, so you can 5-man stack the Dodgers pretty easily. And like whenever you can get that on a 7-game slate, it's like it's in play. Like you have some of the best hitters in baseball. Freddie hasn't been producing at a high clip, but man, his numbers suggested that should. I mean, like he's been pretty good, but like not historically as good as he's been. Like has previous seasons. But I like Pages a lot as well. Teoscar's hurt, so you're gonna see someone else, a cheaper bat. The guy that hasn't been hitting the ball well that I wouldn't play is Kyle Tucker. Like just nothing. Like he's been average. And I think they overpaid him. But like it doesn't matter because the payroll. The guy the team, the guy I'm going to sink my teeth into today is Emmett Sheehan. He's a Jekyll and Hyde pitcher though. So he's got a bit of a walk problem, but his like chase rate is elite. I mean, we just talked about
that's kind of if you think of it, they go hand in hand, right? The chase rate and the walk. Okay, so if like guys aren't looking outside the zone, if they're being patient, they're going to walk more. So he gets a lot of guys to chase to go after pitches, right? So I don't know what his tunneling looks like. I have to look into it, but I think maybe it's fine. But if he's getting a chase rate at a high level, that means the tunneling looks pretty good, and guys are just hoping it finds out the outside of the zone.
Yeah, and so. Obviously, at the top of the Diamondbacks lineup, you have some pretty scary bats with Corbin Carroll, Marte. But outside of that, it's like the team is not great, right? It's like you have some professional, like Nolan Arenado, but like, man, do you really believe in him? So I like it a lot. We've seen Sheehan this season put up like double-digit strikeout performances multiple times. That said, we've seen some games where he's given up 6 runs in 2 innings. So like you know what you're getting into here. But he's like 7-something, 7K, 7.6, something in that range today, and I like him a lot. I think he has Jack Leiter upside from yesterday's slate, like the 33-point upside where he just goes out and strikes out the Diamondbacks 12 times. And I think he wins this game. I think the Dodgers kind of lead in victory. This could easily be like a 7-1 game. and he just kind of shoves.
Yeah, and I understand. I'm just want to look back at Eduardo Rodriguez. I mean, the guy's got elite off-speed stuff. Like, he has no fastball. And I'm not sure. Like, something that we should look into is that how good are the Dodgers against off-speed, right? Because he's got elite off-speed stuff. I mean, I know Freddie Freeman was on the pod talking the other day about those fastballs look a little bit too fast these days for him, right? They're speeding up. So maybe that's a better matchup for Freeman, right? He's like, I'm not looking to hit 98. But yeah, Eduardo, when he's pitching his best, is going to be off speed. This is not a case to play Eduardo. It's just a case to potentially fade the Dodgers.
Yeah, he throws to 40. He throws to 14, 40%. He throws to change 28%. Then it's cut to 14, curve 11, and sinker 7.
Yeah. So it's really just the curve and the change you're looking at as far as like something you get off speed. But like, he's very good at that. So if those are working, he's going to have a little bit more success. But just once again, the Dodgers are the Dodgers. They can hit anyone on the slate. But yeah, for me, Diamondbacks pass. Sheehan, I understand your thoughts. I'm just like, if I had to prioritize 2 pitchers on the slate, something that's going to make my single entry is just going to be Joe Ryan and Jacob deGrom. But I totally get, the concerns on both sides there. So
yeah, I like Joe Ryan. I like him a lot. I guess, you are – and you're dodging ownership there. Soriano will probably be the highest on pitcher. Just people, like, if you look at projections, this is not always true, but generally speaking, projections matter. I guess Soriano could be the highest on pitcher, although Joe Ryan, it'll be him or Joe Ryan. But just like people will look at like, hey, who are they facing? Plus, like, what is his strikeout total? But me and you both know the risk in Soriano. I think it's not just this season that we've seen the spike weeks. There's downside there that people.
There's downside there. There's just downside is like, is he a totally new pitcher? Did he reinvent himself? He's always had an amazing fastball, but a great ground ball guy. But now his strike rate's much higher. Is that sustainable? I mean, he has good stuff, so maybe it is. Maybe it's not, but. Yeah, that's all I have in the slate. I mean, you're going to be stacking the Royals in a 5-5-5.
You missed the game. You missed the game.
I did. I'm sorry. Yeah. Did I?
This game's not important. It's the Mets in Seattle. So you got Hancock versus, I forget who they're throwing in for the Mets. I think maybe it's like a opener.
Right, I'm on it now. Yeah, it's like I clicked on the StatCast and it erases. And they put So I think Warren is the opener for the Mets, and then Emerson Hancock's pitching for the Mariners. Here's just another pass play. Talk about a game I just passed on completely, just exit off the slate. I just didn't even think about it. It's just, I think, who's Warren opening for? I know he's opening for someone. You can pull it up.
Maybe Sean Manaea, I think.
Yeah, Sean Manaea. That's right. That's exactly right. And Sean Manaea is fine. I mean, he's not good by any means. And it's funny enough, as good as the righties are on the Mariners, they've been struggling against lefties. I don't think that's going to be sustainable. But I hate stacking against opener, bulk reliever. I just don't know. So it just never works out the same way. I mean, you get a guy that's a decent opener and he goes 1 or 2, and then you get the bulk guy there. So I don't love Seattle. It's a pitcher's park. I would understand if someone wanted to play Hancock. I just think there's other better strikeout pitchers in the slate. Hancock's walk rate is only 6%. I mean, last start he was having trouble with his command. It was all over the place. I think he walked the bases loaded, walked in a run from the bases being loaded. Just he looked a little shaky. So that 6% walk rate is a little, obviously it's season long. So I'd be a little concerned. For me, I just don't want to play against the Mets. I'm not going to play this game on either side. Just a complete pass. Probably my least favorite game on the slate.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be most people's least favorite game. It's the 6.5 total. The thing is, if you look at Emerson and Hancock's numbers, they're not great. The performances overall in DFS have been good, right? But I have some tepid interest in the Mets here because we've seen their bats starting to heat up, and there's just fun bats to play up and down the lineup. Carson Bench is hitting the ball well. You have AJ Ewing. I mean, Juan Soto's ripping the cover off the ball. Like, you still have guys in this lineup. I think they're a creative 5-man stack. We could throw Semien, Beatty in there, Bo Bichette. Like, and I think with them heating up and like Hancock looking shaky in his last start, walking guys, there's a world in which like this game comes to. It's like the Mets just dominate. Obviously, those guys all went off yesterday, so like that some of it's burned in my brain. But like you do have like interesting DFS plays, right? Like Ewing, we mentioned. Carson Bench is obviously like starting to hit the ball well, but like Soto's expensive. You have to pay for him. But I think there's an interesting stack with the Mets here, and I think they'll go super low owned, just given the 6.5 total. I would say that maybe like they're slightly higher on the Kansas City, but I think I built some mock teams where I played like Dodgers, Mets, and then Dodgers, San Francisco, because I'm interested in those those secondary and tertiary stacks. But I don't know how that sits with you. Again, Hancock, like the results have been good, but the numbers don't suggest like he's going to continue that. And, like the shakiness that we saw in that last chart is somewhat concerning. So
yeah, it's fine. I think it's okay. I think without Kyle Raleigh there, guys are more likely to steal. I don't think you're going to see a lot of home runs in this game. I mean, all those Mets guys, like, I don't know what's the odds Semien hits a home run in this big park? Probably very low.
Yeah, very low.
So like obviously I like Soto hits out anywhere. Bench AG Ewing still. So fine with that. I mean, I don't hate your take there. I just don't know if you need to play against Hancock on the slate. So
Yeah.
if you're chasing points at the end of the slate and those guys catch you, that's going to be a funny thing to happen. But for me, it's just going to be a pass.
Yeah, once our teams get cooked, I'm going for the late slate. That's home play.
Yeah, no, that's exactly in a small slate. Like people just play Hancock, you just stack against them.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. I think that's it, man. Well, I guess we got some golf coming up this week. Placed the 888, which is nice. I like Scotty Scheffler a lot. I think they priced him too cheap. I was expecting 14.5 and he was 13.5. So
it's a Siggy. So we'll see. We'll jump back on and talk some golf on Wednesday, maybe. As we get more information. So, but yeah, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back. We're gonna break down the slate tomorrow. Probably tomorrow as well during the day. They got a 111, 200K to first. That's what we're gonna focus on. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow.
All right, later, folks.